Hello and welcome to another episode of Skinterviews by Nathan and George. We are in season 2. It's well underway. I know some of you have caught episodes because I got a ton of user comments that I can read out tonight. I'm so happy to be here another night. My name is George Skindalis, and my co-host
is Nathan Strom.
How's it going, Nathan Strom?
Well, it's been a busy week for us, hasn't it, George?
It's been madness. I mean, we have not slowed down at all.
I know.
Which is exciting.
Well, it's great to be filming on location at a few clinics. It's been good with Skinterviews on location.
It has. It's always nice to launch new different things. And we also have the business Skinsider.
Yeah.
From Insider. That's going to be launching very soon. We've got a lot of things coming up. So for everybody that's just tuning in, maybe it's your first time tuning in and, I don't know yet, but if I did, I would be totally upset with you. But you can definitely keep following us on Instagram at skin.terviews. Of course, on Facebook and LinkedIn, you can just look up Skinterviews by Nathan and George. So we got some user comments today. One of them is, I absolutely loved your episode with Dr. Anna Guanche. She is phenomenal and she's so funny and full of life. She really, really is. And, we did the interview a few weeks back now, but we've totally kept in communication because she's so much fun. She's a great resource. If you have any questions, I ask her and she really gets back to me really quickly. And she's just such a lovely personality overall. Another user comment is, George, I'm loving your hair. Thank you, because last week someone didn't really like it. Got one of those comments.
Was that comment from you, George?
I'm not. Yeah, 100%. I send in my own user comments. So, are Nathan and you together? No. 100,000% no.
We would kill each other.
No. Nathan swings the other way. Married with kids. Not my cup of tea. I don't fall for the accent. I got my own accent at home. Okay? All right? Any other personal questions you want to know, direct them to Nathan. Don't send them to me, because I'm going to answer them. I also want to say that today, in the mail, I finally got my copy of Beyond Beautiful from Doris Day. So I will be reading it in the next few weeks, and we will be talking about it. And you know what? I love that it's called Beyond Beautiful. Our guest today has written a book called Beyond Soap. That was a really good segue. I'm getting really good at this. By season 3, I'm going to be a pro. Stand back, Kelly and Ryan. She is a phenomenal dermatologist. And I love how you surprised her and anything. You're like, is he going to say who she is? You're acting like you don't know who our guest is.
No, it just excites me to find out what's going to come out of your mouth.
This is why we're not together, ladies and gentlemen. So, her name is Sandy Skotnicki, Dr. Sandy Skotnicki, and she's the founding director of Bay Dermatology Center. She's an assistant professor at the University of Toronto at the Department of Medicine in the divisions of dermatology and occupational environmental health. As I mentioned, she is the author of Beyond Soap, and she is quite the personality. I've read about her book in the New Yorker, in the Globe and Mail, and I think she also mentioned that they reviewed it in the Atlantic. And she's got a lot to say, and it's a really interesting topic because some people may find it uncomfortable because it almost makes you feel a little dirty. But she's got a lot to say, my girl. I want to remind our viewers that Skinterviews Season 2 is proudly brought to you by FullScript. And for all my doctors that watch the program, if you are not on FullScript, it is a massive fail. I'm not saying that because they're our sponsors. I'm saying that because FullScript is the ultimate platform for those who want to do wellness the right way, the personal way. It has the industry's most comprehensive catalog of over 300 plus professional quality products, making safe supplements more accessible and making personalized treatment plans possible. I did not know when FullScript sponsored this episode that certain supplementation can interact with any prescription drugs you may be taking on a daily basis. And I was going into my local drug mart and I was buying my vitamin C and my vitamin D. And then somebody told me about ginkgo biloba. So I bought that too. And I buy my powder, my protein powder there. And I buy all my other stuff there. But without getting it from a doctor, you have no idea how it's going to affect your system, what the right dosage is, what you actually need. So doctors, step up to the plate, get on FullScript, and start prescribing to patients exactly what they need for a holistic 360 approach to their health. Good?
That's well said, George.
I think so too. Now, enough about what I have to say. Should we bring our guest in?
I would love to. I can't wait for this.
Did you see the shirt she's wearing? You can see her backstage. I can't see her.
Yeah, I can see her.
She's ready to come in. She's bursting.
She's bursting. She's ready. Should we bring her in?
Well, all right. Without further ado, let's bring Dr. Sandy Skotnicki.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
That was quite the introduction. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm wonderful. And you like my shirt. That's
We
even
do.
better.
Shirt. I really do.
It's my new fall purchase. I can't wear it out, so I wear it on this. So
Oh,
Yes.
feels super special. This is like us having a drink together or dinner together,
exactly.
and we get to shoot the beat. Oh, I feel left out. I got water.
Yeah, I got water too, but
I'm gonna have to fix it. I'm gonna have to fix it.
sneaking a bit of wine here and there. So
I've been dying to get you on the show.
oh well, thank
And
you.
and Nathan had told me, I mean, somebody actually recommended to us from season 1. Do you remember who it was?
I think it was Dr. Julia Carroll.
Dr. Carol, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was dying to get you on the show because I really want to talk to you about what I actually read, because a lot of people were on the fence about it, and we're going to get into it today. But it was your article that's based on your book about Beyond Soap and about, I think it was the microbiome of the skin, and basically that our skin is designed to regenerate itself and that we are actually over showering and over washing ourselves.
Well, you probably read the article in the Globe and Mail. It was called "A Clean Break," and it was a review. It was an opinion piece that I wrote with my writer who helped me write my book about the book and about how we're kind of live in a society that's too clean, and we've actually probably caused a lot of skin disease. And I was quoted in the New Yorker and the Atlantic recently because one of the staff writers for the Atlantic, Dr. James Hamlin, has written a book as well called Clean, the New Science of Skin. And it's about the same thing. He actually interviewed me for my book. And it's a concept that makes people kind of, like you said, kind of go like this, right? Because they don't shower every day. But if you go back just even, 100 years, maybe 1930, 1940, people showered once a week, and a lot of what we do today, which is, I know that you guys do a lot of cosmetic, I have a lot of cosmetic people on the program, and I certainly do a lot of cosmetics as well, but my interest is allergy and sort of contact dermatitis and eczema. And, they have tripled since 1950. And you have to ask yourself, that's not genetics, right? So if you look at developed societies, we see eczema and sensitive skin and all this stuff more in places where there is, indoor plumbing, clean water, clean living. And it's great, but it's social norm and it's not about health. And that's really what the sort of article was about.
It's really, really, really interesting. And I mean, we're gonna put a picture of your book. So everybody, I'm gonna just say, you can see the picture right now. This is what the cover looks like, and that's where we're gonna put it into the program. And you can buy your book on
everywhere, like Amazon, there's Kindle, Google Play, it's in Barnes and Noble, it's in Russian, it's in Vietnamese, it's in Czech.
Wow.
And it's in lots of languages.
Well, look at you. You're a big deal. You know what? I couldn't get Dr. Day to sign mine because I'm not going to New York with what's going on.
I will send you both a signed copy. How's that?
Oh, yes.
I love that. You know what? I really want to read it. And I'll tell you that I'm going to use it to my defense because there's been a couple of times during self-isolation where, I ain't showering every day if I ain't leaving the house.
I'm
going to say Dr. Skotnicki told me not to.
Well, I had a patient, early on, I remember he said, I reach for the bar in the shower and you're in my head. And I'm like, oh, I better not do that. I think the reason, you know, I never set out to write the book about that. My interest, as you may know, is allergic reactions to things that touch our skin, and including skincare and skincare ingredients. And I just saw this massive increase over the last 10 years, 15 years of me doing this. And I got frustrated. And I was talking to somebody and they were like, you should write a book. Like, you're very good at explaining things. And I had a writer help me. We did a pitch. I had 3 book offers, and I went with Penguin, and we wrote this book to sort of explain why there's an increase in reaction to skincare products, and it's not really what people think, right? And so I wanted to sort of demystify that. And then during that process, I came across all this newer research about the skin microbiome.
Right.
And the microbiome really comes down to, again, our skin is acidic. It's covered in millions, trillions of bacteria. Does, preservatives in skincare, soaps and detergents and water, are we disturbing it, or have we changed it? And I think the answer is absolutely yes, but we don't really understand how. And throwing in some probiotics and stuff into skincare it's another marketing, avenue. It's about, if you don't mess it up in the first place, you don't need to add more stuff. But unfortunately, that's not the society we live in.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with doing both, but I wanted to sort of explain the science behind it. And a lot of people will go, wow, that really makes sense. My grandmother washed once a week, and or whatever. And a lot of that makes people gross out. So I say, just don't wash your whole body. Shower the bits is what you probably
your bits in your feet. Your bits in your feet is what you say.
Bits in your feet. Yeah.
That's it. I love it. You know what? I'm going to pick your brain on something else that is just a random thought I had yesterday, and you don't have to answer it today, but it's something that you may come up in your research. I suffer from, I think it's called dyshydrotic eczema. Did I say it correctly?
Yeah.
And I noticed when I ran out of my vitamin C serum that it went away.
Yeah, it might be irritating your hand.
And then when I started it up again, it flared up.
Yeah.
And I thought, is that even possible? And I didn't know if there was ever a study on it, but it sounds like you might be the right person to ask. So if you ever come across anything, shoot it off in an email to me.
I think awesome. Some of that is, I talk a little about stacking of products. So one product is okay, but if you use 5 or 6, the combination of all of those together, will cause a reaction. I think some of that is what's driving sensitive skin, and a lot of it's applied with your hands, right? So one of the things I talk about in my book is I went, this sort of arbitrary or not, I went to the North Pole. Okay. I hiked to the North Pole with this expedition to fundraise, and I spent 10 days on the ice with no showering, no bathing, nothing. We just washed our bits in the tent. And when I came back, I was scared to look in the mirror because I thought, but I'd never looked better. My skin was absolutely glowing. No pollution, all I did was wear sunscreen. I didn't use any detergent, no water. Water's very drying. And I still remember it to this day. Like, my hair was a total disaster and it was greasy, but my skin was like this glowing. And then within 48 hours of being in Resolute Bay in a hotel that had indoor heating and we'd hot showers, I was red and sort of itchy and angry again. So there's something to it. It's hard because the marketing sort of tells you to use more, do more. And it's fun. Like, beauty's fun. I like it.
Yeah.
I like clothes. I like fashion. I like to do stuff with my hair. You've got to find a balance. And I just wanted to educate. I want people to understand when they do have a problem, what to do. If you don't have a problem, use whatever you want, do whatever you want. But when you do have a problem, you end up going and getting more stuff and doing more things. And then you just get more frustrated. And that's why I wrote the book.
It sounds to me like your whole life led you up to writing this book.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Maybe.
I love that. And we're going to today, Skinterviews, I could talk about this all day with you, but our viewers are here to learn all about you and your personal life and your upbringing and the life that led you maybe to that book. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to remind everybody, I'm getting a signed copy, but I want to remind everybody to go pick up Beyond Soap. As Dr. Skotnicki mentioned, you can get it on Amazon, on Kindle, and a bunch of different places. All you got to do is look it up. You have her name.
And you can get it at the library. Apparently, a patient of mine told me a couple of weeks ago that I guess this is a good sign. There's like a I don't know, 60 waiting list for loaning of the book.
Wow.
So that's good.
That's brilliant.
If you don't want to buy it, you can wait for the loan at the library.
That's brilliant. I love that. All right. Let's take it back all the way to day 0.
Mm-hmm.
You enter this world. You take your first breath. Mom and Dad, they named you Sandy Skotnicki. Was it always Sandy Skotnicki? Is there a middle name? And does your name mean anything?
Absolutely. Yeah. My mother named me after Sandra Dee, her favorite actress.
Okay.
And my middle name is Mary after my 2 grandmothers. They were both Mary, both Slavic. One was born in Poland, one was born in Slovakia, sorry. So yeah, and then short form to Sandy, always been Sandy. Yeah.
I like it. And were you born in Toronto?
I was born in Oshawa.
Just
outside of Toronto. Yeah.
Ontario native. Ontario native.
Yeah. Grew up in Oshawa. Always liked sciences, but my first love was sport. I was how do I say this without sounding conceited? I was a high performing athlete.
And now you're a high performing dermatologist.
Yeah,
go figure.
Yeah, well, I mean, most doctors are overachievers, right? And a little bit insane that way. So I played volleyball for U of T, and did my Bachelor of Science in Microbiology, which so I've come full circle with the whole microbiome, which really was fascinating for me when I was doing research for my book. And yeah, so I played volleyball at U of T, and then volleyball wasn't going to happen, wasn't going to be on the national team or play in Europe. So I decided to apply to medical school, and I got in. This is a good message for young people. And whenever I have students or kids who are trying to get into medical school, I mean, I got in off the waiting list, and I think that I've done pretty well. And I actually graduated pretty good in my class. So you don't have to be the best sometimes to end up doing well. You know, you guys know that. Grit, the book, whatever, all of it is true. And if you have a desire and a willpower, you can make it happen.
I love that. Do you have siblings?
I have an older sister who lives still in Oshawa. She did a different path, kind of became a mother very early and had 3 lovely children. Is probably smarter than me, but I'm more driven and a bit more crazy. So
you followed her footsteps. You got 3 kids of your own, correct?
I do. I have 3 sons, 21, 19, and 15. All were hockey players, AAA, Junior A hockey players. They've all finished now. My eldest is at Ryerson doing the BCom, Bachelor of Commerce. My middle guy is in science in Dalhousie, and my 15-year-old is in grade 10.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Who was mom and dad's favorite growing up, yourself or your sister?
Oh, I was the good one. I
As an adult, has that changed?
My parents are both passed away, unfortunately.
Sorry to hear. So are mine, so I know what that feels like.
It's hard. Well, you know, I was like the serious, most medical well, there's a few outliers, but most of us are, studious, weren't the party type. I was always a designated driver. I was an athlete, so, and my sister was a partier. She had fun. She had way much more fun than I did. So favorite, I guess, from now that I have parents, the kids that are least problematic are probably your favorites. We're human beings as parents, so
right.
I always gave my parents less trouble. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Now, is there something in your childhood that you remember that you used to do as a family in the weekends that was really special, that sort of brought you together?
Yeah, we used to go camping all the time. My dad loved to go up to the north, so we'd often go and away for the weekend, and we had a cottage. And when I was growing up near Lake Mazenau, which is near Bon Echo, and I love the outdoors. I really, really love nature. hence
Yeah.
the North Pole thing. I've hiked all kinds of places. I absolutely love nature. I have a farm. I've hiked Machu Picchu. I've done lots of. I love the outside. I love the outdoors, and
Yeah.
I think I got that from my dad growing up for sure.
Yeah. At Machu Picchu, did you go up to Huayna Picchu up the top?
Absolutely, yeah.
How good? Like, aren't you on top of the world when you get up there? I was actually in tears when I got up the top there.
Oh,
It's
you did it,
unbelievable.
eh? Yeah. It's so funny because a lot of people don't do it. You take all the time
Yeah.
to get there. It's scary.
100%.
It's very scary.
Yeah.
So if you've been there, so when I turned 50, I wanted to, most of my friends want to go to a spa or, I mean, I live in I work in this environment. I can
Yeah.
get a facial anytime I want. So I was like, I want to go to Machu Picchu and I want to hike the Salkantay Trek. So the Salkantay Trek is a 7-day hike through the Andes Mountains.
That's the long one.
Yeah, and you go around the back to Machu Picchu. And I mean, it's phenomenal. No road, like you hike from inn to inn. Now it's luxurious. You can camp. I did the stay in the inn thing and and have a nice meal. I mean, I did turn 50, so it was, and I did it with 6 girlfriends.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and when we got to Machu Picchu, it was the pinnacle. But I was like, I'm not going to not go to one. But it's like you're going up like this, right?
It's pretty steep. Like it's. But when you get
George, you sign in because if you don't sign out, they go looking for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing when you look out. You actually feel like for the first time I've had that feeling twice, and that was at the Eiffel Tower in Paris when I looked. They have a bit up the top where you can see where your country's from, and I saw the New Zealand flag and how far away you are, and I was like, a little boy from New Zealand traveling by himself around the world, and that's my home that far away.
Yeah.
And then the other one was Huayna Picchu, where I just felt like I was on top of the world. Like it was breathtaking.
Really.
Yeah.
The only other time I've experienced that was the north of Iceland. I took my sons to Iceland. And most people do the south, which is the Golden Triangle, which is beautiful. But I am adventurous, so we flew up to the north and we hiked. There's a provincial park there where you're actually at the end of the world, because the tip of Iceland is kind of Greenland maybe is a little bit north, but it was beautiful. Yeah. So
the next trip you need to do is to Bolivia to do the salt mines.
Yes, it's on. Yeah, it's funny. It's on my list. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wonderful thing as well. I was lucky enough to travel for 2 months around South America, so it was.
Yeah.
It was
in Argentina.
Yes, I did all that as well, which was wonderful. Yeah.
What's that road at the end? It's called the Road to Nowhere or something.
The Death Road. Yeah, I biked down that, and that was incredible. Like I wouldn't want my kids to do it. I remember my mum emailing me going, "You're not doing that road, are you?" and I was in my young 20s, single and dumb, and I went down there as fast as I could. But
does everybody from Australia? This is a total generalization, and New Zealand, just everybody I've met, they're just such adventurers. They go all over the world. They experience all kinds of things. I mean, maybe it's because you're isolated over there. You just want to go see everything.
It is like we're sort of told to go to university, work for a couple of years, save everything you can, and then just go and see how long you can go for, how long your money lasts. And then wherever you end up, you kind of find a job and then stay until that country kicks you out, basically, because a lot of people know that when they get home in their 30s, it's time to settle down, and like it's too far to take a family anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, but unfortunately, I just didn't get home. I went traveling and stayed. Yeah.
I have not been to Australia and New Zealand, but it's on my list because it's apparently very stunning.
It is very beautiful, but so is our lovely Canada as well. But
absolutely.
Enough about me. Let's talk more about you. And while we're on birthdays, I've got a question about birthdays at the other end of your life when you're a little bit younger. What's the first birthday you remember, or the most memorable birthday you remember growing up as a kid?
I don't know. Gosh. I actually have to say I don't know. You know,
It's okay.
some people ask me about my childhood, and I had such a lovely, easy childhood that it was happy. I think you have sometimes memories like that are more upsetting. Like I don't know. It was just such a lovely, easy childhood. I remember. Well, I mean, I grew up in Oshawa, in this small blue collar town. We went to McDonald's. You
Yeah.
know, you had your 6 friends, and you went to McDonald's, and you had your birthday party, and you had your hats, and you had your Big Macs, and that was it. Like none of
Yeah.
this. Like now we have companies that do the party and
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, I think it's because I saw a photo, recently when my dad passed away. We were looking at old photos, and there was all of us at McDonald's for one of our birthday parties. So maybe that's a memory. Yeah.
No, I used to love McDonald's parties when I was growing up. That's all we had. It was that or
Yeah.
Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, because there was no party planner
No.
during birthday parties. Yeah.
Yeah. And talking about your parents, and what do you think was the most important lesson they taught you and your sister growing up?
Well, my dad came over from Poland during the war.
Yeah.
We're Catholic, but he's Polish, and him and his family were put in a concentration camp.
Wow.
And he didn't like to talk about it too much, but when he did, he said, I think he was a very smart man, but he didn't have the opportunity because he came to Canada as a young boy, couldn't speak English. I remember him saying everyone called him DP, displaced person. So he kind of instilled in us the desire to want to be more education, and I took that to the nth level. And my dad was an incredible athlete. I mean, he was a lifeguard. He played fastball. I get all my sports from him. And my mom was a very quiet person and not educated. And I remember when I came home and I said, I'm going to go to medical school. And she said, you mean nursing? I just remember her as always being supportive and driving me everywhere and telling me I could do anything I wanted to do. They were immigrant, to Canada. Like, my mom was born here, but her parents weren't, and I think they led very simple lives. So they just supported me in anything I did and helped me.
That's lovely. Yeah.
Beautiful. I want to know. So we switch up the mood here a little bit because I, as somebody who's lost their parents too, I get a little emotional hearing all that stuff because reminiscent, and my parents were immigrants too. Mm-hmm. So I can relate to a lot of the things you're talking about, but I'm going to change it up here. We're going to lighten it up. I want you to tell me a really embarrassing story that you've never told anyone else in an interview. Now, and don't worry, nobody watches our show. It's just us girls chatting. Tell me something that's gonna make me fall off my seat laughing.
Okay, let me see here. I have many because my nickname in high school was Spaz.
Oh.
I would get like 99 in something and then lose my wallet. So I have many stories like this, but I remember in high school we were going on this trip to Halifax to this volleyball tournament, and we had to get on the bus, and then we were going to take the plane, and my luggage didn't make it on.
Oh, no.
I had the whole week with no luggage. Oh my God, I've done so many crazy things like that. I remember. Yeah, I'm very directionally challenged. Like it's interesting. I can solve problems, complex things, remember crazy Latin names, do all kinds of things. But sometimes the simple things. So I took my son to on this fishing trip to Montauk to catch tuna, and we rented this convertible Mustang. We flew into JFK. It was really cool. We were 16. We drove down, and I couldn't figure out the nav, and I had a phone. And you do everything on the phone now, right?
Right.
And the USB cord wasn't working in the car.
Oh, no.
So it was fine getting down there, but on the way back, and we had to take the car back, and my phone was dying, and we had no navigation, and I was starting to flip out. If my son was there now, he was like, she was screaming and crying, and we're gonna miss the flight. And I get it. I would not be a good emerge physician, or I was not good in trauma situations because I get a little panicky. Most specialists that are kind of like heavy information heavy and just have to memorize a whole bunch of things, they're not good in like trauma situations. That's why it's good that radiologists, they're in there reading there's certain personalities that attract certain specialties. So I was like flipping out. So we actually stopped to get a map. Okay.
Wow.
And I taught my son how to read a map, and we had to and then it was so complicated to try to get to the airport that we stopped, plugged in the phone at some store, and I took pictures of the directions. So there's a story.
That's a good story. That's a good story.
It's a long story, but it's a good story.
So many years of education.
Mm-hmm.
And, with everything going on with COVID right now, education is always a hot topic with teachers, whether we're learning in class or virtual learning for a lot of the students. I'm sure you're going through some of that with your high school student son. I want to ask, even through university and being someone that's at U of T too, was there a specific teacher that you remember for being really inspiring? Mm-hmm. Or on the other spectrum, was there a specific teacher you remember that was quite a bully? Mm. And did either one of them have a massive impact on your life?
Yeah, I have two stories there. So I did a full Bachelor of Science because I played volleyball, and that was my sort of dream. And then when that didn't, and then I kind of decided to do some research in immunology, which was great. Immunology was just starting. It's crazy to think it was just at its onset its start in the early 90s. And I did a thesis, and so I did this summer project, and I said to my Dr. Wu, I think she's a really amazing immunologist in Canada. I said, I'm going to apply to medical school. And she's like, yeah, I think you should. And so I went to New York on this trip with some girlfriends. And this was before like instant messaging all the time. So U of T was calling me because I had gotten a position on the waiting list, and I wasn't answering.
You were in New York. It's like
She's like tracking me down. So they call her because she's one of my references, and she's tracking me down. I mean, I have to thank her for the rest of my life because I would have missed the opportunity. So she tracks me down in New York, and she's, yeah, freaking call U of T. Like, you should have given them you should have been checking. And so she was very wonderful mentor in the research area, but she helped me get into medical school. And then I remember, and I tell this sometimes to students, this story to students, because I can be a bit forthright, which I think, and I stand up for things that when I think something's not right, morally, ethically, whatever. I'm known for that in the dermatology community. So I was a first year intern on my surgical rotation. And I was, the first time in the OR, I think they actually like it, like the surgeons and the nurses and stuff, because they just laugh at the students because they go in, they contaminate themselves, then they have to go out, and then they scrub and they contaminate themselves. And so I finally, after the third scrub, get into the OR, and I, I'm all excited, and I'm sitting there, and the surgeon or the nurse or somebody says, hold this. And so I hold it, and I don't know what I'm holding, like a retractor or something. And then the surgeon starts like really basically yelling at me. And I just stopped, and I said, I still remember this to this day because you could have heard a pen drop. I don't know who you are. No one's introduced me. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what the surgery is. I don't know what I'm holding. You want me to help you? You're yelling at me. Maybe if you said hello and introduced yourself and said we're doing a colonoscopy, whatever, and what I'm holding, and everybody just kind of looked at me like, who is this person? And it was great. after that, he said, well, we're doing this and we're doing that. And it really does help if you stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
In a respectful way. I didn't swear. I didn't, say obscenities, but I said, listen, you want me, I'm here to help you, but you just, can we say SHIT? And I don't even know what I'm doing. So I think it's important to advocate for yourself as a student. A lot of it is a stressful job being a physician. Yeah. And sometimes you forget, the students there, and you're kind of, sometimes it's hard when they're there because they slow you down or whatever. But, you got to advocate for yourself. So those are some stories.
I like that.
I like that too. And hey, if you're not teaching the future, we're going to go nowhere, are we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's so important.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to talk about some fun stuff. So firstly, I want to know, in Toronto, the city you're living in now, where do you go to unwind or let your hair down or go out for like a nice drink or a nice meal or something like that?
Nowhere in COVID.
No, I'll rephrase that. When COVID is not here, should I say?
Yeah, when it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. I'm very much, I don't know if you read any of my bio, I'm a big patron of the arts.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
I collect photography. I love to go to gallery openings. I have a lot of friends in the arts. I've been on art boards. I've supported the arts. I love the opera. I'm a seasons ticket holder. I absolutely love it. I go to opera houses around the world when I can.
Wow.
And then I'm an athlete. I love to hike. I have a farm. I hike. I love to ski. And I've just taken up tennis during COVID because, what the hell else are you going to do, right? So I'm a member of a tennis club, and I have been for years, but I've never really played. So I've taken up tennis.
So question on that, because I've seen a lot of it during COVID because we live next to a tennis court. Are you playing the proper tennis or that new game that everyone's playing in the service court area where it's like they only use half the tennis court? I don't know what it's called, but apparently it's massive in Florida.
No, I don't, because I joined some, about 6 years ago, I joined some tennis club that's a little bit, how do I say, politically correct, like a very serious tennis club.
Okay.
So no, we play, it's serious tennis.
Okay,
and,
yeah.
I take some lessons, and I joined a ladder, and it's pretty intense actually, but I like competition, so it's good for me. Yeah.
So I'm guessing you're working up the way through the seeding of
I've just started 2 months ago. So
okay.
I'm really enjoying it. Tennis is fun. And I'm incredibly competitive, as you probably already gleaned. So
I can tell that. Yes.
Yeah. So for me to do something where I'm actually competing again, it's really kind of fun.
No, that sounds good. Now let's similar question now. COVID is gone. Around the world, where's a few places that you sort of have on your bucket list you want to go, places you want to visit?
Yeah, well, I love, as I said, I love to hike. So I did Bhutan last year. So on my list is something called the Tour de Mont Blanc, where you circumvent Italy, Switzerland, and Germany. You sort of hike around the mountain peak. It's a very old trail. I want to do that. I'd love to do Australia, New Zealand, but I think I want to do that. You need time, right? I want to take a whole month to do that.
Well, you probably need just a month for New Zealand.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I haven't done Portugal. I'd love to go there and hike in there, and but really sort of Switzerland, Austria, Germany, and hike that area is top of the list. And the salt flats of Bolivia and Mongolia is on the list as well. It's endless, Argentina too, Patagonia. Anywhere there's a hiking trail, I'd like to go.
Well, before I hand you over to George, you need to email me if you want to do South America or Australasia, because I'll put you on the right direction with some really good hiking tracks. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds awesome. Yeah.
Are you a morning person or a night person?
Morning.
Morning.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And do you listen to any specific music when you like to work out?
Not really. I mean, I have a Spotify list, and I I ask my kids sometimes to give me playlists because I'm not very good with that sort of stuff. And one of my friends put me onto some radio station in LA, KCW something or other, which has got it's an absolutely fabulous Spotify. I like Spotify. I just, go to the daily mixes or whatever. But I do love music. I love my all-time favorite is U2. I've been to over 10 concerts.
They're my favorite. I've been to 15 concerts in
I've
4
been
different
to
countries.
10, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then after that is Coldplay. I've probably been to 6. So
Coldplay has to be one of the best
wow.
concerts I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, they're phenomenal. So last time we were in Toronto, I splurged and got 6th row, and Chris Martin was right there, jumping like a gorilla right beside me, and it was awesome. Yeah.
So, when this is over, we're going to Slane Castle to watch U2 live.
Okay, sounds good. I love it. I hope
that's on my bucket list, and we're going to buy the tickets to get in the Love Heart. So we're right up.
Love Heart.
Yeah.
You know how they do the Love Heart?
I've got a good story. Sorry, I just remembered. I went to Coachella.
Oh,
doesn't that make me cool?
Oh, wow.
I want to see pictures.
What's that?
Do we have pictures?
Do I have pictures? I mean, I can send you some. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to send a picture.
Went to Coachella. It was Radiohead.
Oh,
amazing. Yeah, York. What's his name? Tom York. Yeah, he was incredible. Rihanna. Black Keys.
yeah.
Who's that other band? Oh gosh, the talk of the Coachella was you probably heard about it. They had all the rappers, and I'm not a big rap fan, but I actually changed my mind a little bit after this. So they had on the same stage at the same time 50 Cent, Eminem, Tupac. He came out with a huge joint, and they had a hologram of Tupac.
That's cool. Yeah,
wow.
And Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre came out with his beats on. It was phenomenal. Yeah. And I don't know how politically correct this podcast is, but you just had to sit there and breathe, and you got, you had a good buzz. So it was a really amazing experience. Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Yeah.
What is your favorite song right now? Something that's been stuck in your head?
Two.
Two. How does that go?
Sorry, 2 songs. Sorry. The new album by Taylor Swift, Folklore. I love Peace. And I love this. I actually I went to Boots and Hearts. I like New Country. I didn't think I would because I'm an opera fan. But I like Kane Brown, Homesick. It's quite. I mean, do you know him?
Check it out. No, I'm not. So I have a friend that's actually been on the show, Lindsay Nathan. She's a huge, new age country fan, and she's always trying to get me into it. So whenever she has something good, I'm like, I'll listen to it. So I'm going to check out
Kane Brown. Kane Brown is an interesting story because his mother is white. His dad is African American. His dad left him when he was a child. And he's from Tennessee. And when he opens his mouth, he sounds like it should be a Southern older man with a hat, like a cowboy hat. And he's a mulatto 20-year-old. It's absolutely, he's phenomenal. Yeah.
Kane Brown.
Kane Brown.
I'm going to look him up as well.
Yeah.
Are you a TV fan?
No, I do watch Netflix. I like a good Netflix series, as we all did during COVID, more than most. But
yeah,
no, I watch some series. I like documentaries too, and I like to watch some TED Talks. Yeah.
If I were to make a movie about your life, or a TV series, who's the actress you would choose to play you? And this is a hot topic because I don't know if you know right now, with Madonna's writing her own biopic.
Oh, and they're trying to find somebody to play her.
And there's an Instagrammer that has made it her mission to be the actress that plays Madonna. So every day she comes out on Instagram with another look from Madonna over the decades, and she actually looks a lot like her. It's a really cool thing. So Madonna finally messaged her for an audition, but who introduced? Yeah, it was some random girl. It's brilliant. So I was like,
power of social media, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I gotta preface it with a couple of funny stories. So I have 3 elderly gentlemen patients who see me quite frequently, and one every time, they're older, every time he says, you look like Celine Dion. and then the other one says, you really look like Linda Carter, the Superwoman lady, right?
Yeah.
And then the one I get the most is Jennifer Aniston. So I think maybe Jennifer could play me.
That's awesome.
Aniston. I like that.
So let's talk some business now. We should talk a little bit of
No.
I know we're having so much fun. I want to be the party pooper, but it's not going to be too difficult questions. But I'm going to start off with, what makes our industry so great, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, skin is just an amazing organ, and I think a lot of people, physicians in particular, non-dermatologists, take it for granted until they have a problem. It's a fascinating, and I think, with my book too, it's really the gateway. And I think that we're going to start to learn more that the skin is really driving a lot of disease processes, especially the skin microbiome. Like the skin gut axis and all that, even the brain, gut, skin, gut, brain axis. So, but I think we have the power to really impact people's lives in such a positive way, like from the simple things of acne to doing Botox properly and appropriately, to helping women with their hair loss, men with their hair loss. It's a very powerful, very uplifting specialty, and it's a privilege to be able to help people in that way. And it can be exhausting too, because there's so much misinformation, and that's a part of the reason, again, why I wrote the book. And I think, Doris Day and I met at a meeting, and we had a long chat about the power of really sort of educating the public. And because it's not easy to do the Instagram stuff and do all this stuff and put yourself out there, but I think it's important, because there are players that aren't necessarily doing the right things, right? And that takes away from our specialty.
Yeah.
So I love being a dermatologist. It's exhausting sometimes, it's frustrating sometimes, but the power to really change people's lives is a real gift.
Yeah. I love that. And what do you think we can do to control the message? Like, what can we do as industry to not be biased, but make sure the right message is being broadcasted on all these social platforms? Because it does, like, there's a lot of noise out there.
Yeah.
In your opinion, how can we counteract that?
Well, I think it's what you're doing. You're having people on that are certified physicians. You don't always have to be a board certified dermatologist, depending on what your topic is. As long as you're doing the right messaging. I don't know. To be honest with you, sometimes I get down about it a little bit, I have to say. All the misinformation, disinformation, and, as you said, noise.
Yeah.
You just keep trying to put out good messaging. I think the book has helped me and helped a lot of people. I don't know.
Okay, cool. And I've got one question before I pass it on to George again. Is there another book in the making?
If I had a nickel for doing the book was almost killed me. It was a lot more than I ever thought it would be. The writing of it was one thing, which I had a wonderful ghostwriter help me, but the promotion of it and just all the stuff around it. And then I was still working and still running my office, right? I own a very big clinic, and it's just me, and I'm a single mother, and it was a lot. It was a lot. No, and you know what? I only would write a book if I had something to say. I don't have anything to say right now, so I don't think you should write a book just to write a sequel or something. So No. I started a podcast. Unfortunately, the podcast, there were some creative differences, so we did 10 great episodes. I'm actually glad that we kind of stopped because, wow, a podcast is a lot of work to do it.
We know. We know.
You know, right? It's a ton of work. All the production on the backside, sponsorship, putting up stuff on the website, the notes, and all the rest of it. And, if you want to do it well, and again, like you said, put out the proper messaging, have good guests, it takes a lot of work. Yeah. I would like to do that again because I've had a lot of people ask me if they really enjoyed the ones that we did. Like one whole episode was about parabens. One whole episode was about hair loss. One whole episode is, do you need a moisturizer? What's a good moisturizer? I mean, these are messages that need to come from, and it doesn't, dermatologists, there's a big pushback with cosmetic chemists now. They're getting into the mix, right? And I think there's nothing wrong with having all of us work together in the same direction rather than opposing each other. And, it doesn't help when doctors say sunscreens are evil or sunscreens would cause cancer and these kind of, statements that aren't backed by any kind of, can you explain that? Can you elaborate that? So those, that's the kind of thing I'd like to explore more with the podcast at some point.
Tell me, in your opinion, I mean, because you're obviously somebody that takes great pride in their work, and you are involved in so many different aspects of the education and continued education of dermatology and research. So I want to know, in your opinion, what you believe the next, not big thing, and when I say big thing, I don't mean as a trend, but the next innovation or the next piece of technology that's going to affect skin health rather than, masseter injections. Like, I want to know.
Yeah, I'm actually involved in that.
Exciting.
From a business point of view. And so about 5 years ago, I was approached by some young kids. They were in their 20s. I call them young kids. To help them with a AI, deep learning, artificial intelligence, deep learning skin app to read moles and dermoscopy images.
Wow.
And I actually just helped the CDA write a statement about technology, this sort of technology. So this is the next thing. It's already here, right? Telemedicine. I mean, and COVID has pushed all this, right?
Yeah.
We can do a lot of stuff. We can't do everything because dermatology is very hands-on. You got to see things, whatever. But digital telemedicine, right, is the future. And there's not enough derms, certainly not in Canada. So the photography on telemedicine is not great. So we need a better platform. We need to be able to triage people. And it's coming. So any visual medical specialty, ophthalmology, radiology, dermatology, is going to have an AI application. Yeah. And we can either be on the forefront of it and help, basically how that plays out and have a hand in it, or have other people, business people tell us what's going to happen, or be part of it, or part of the messaging and part of the technology. So I think that's the next wave. It's not a cosmetic thing, but I think it's definitely, it's already here. It's more here in medicine. The other thing that I'm involved in, which I really am happy about, is I'm on the advisory board for Hims and Hers. I don't know if you've heard of that company. No. So Hims and Hers is a company out of California. They just signed J-Lo and A-Rod as their spokespeople.
Oh yes, is this where they send products?
Pardon me?
They send you different products, I think, too.
Well, what they're doing is they're disrupting prescription medicine. So if you want to get birth control or retinol or a erectile dysfunction drug, you don't have to see a physician. You could go into their telemedicine platform, you see a physician through telemedicine, and they send you the script. So it actually started with erectile dysfunction. And the problem is it's going to take a while before it comes to Canada, because the telemedicine in Canada isn't as well developed as it is in the US. So, and I think the thing that I like about J-Lo and A-Rod being involved is they really are about providing medical services to people that don't have access to them. That's their shtick. And that's why they want to be involved. And I'm one of the advisors, so I help them with the direction, which is really cool.
That's very cool.
That is
I
cool.
actually saw them advertising that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's something else they were doing where they send like they were saying something about sending packages out with it. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, they're trying all kinds of different things, but and they're constantly looking at new products too. I mean, I probably can't say anything, but birth control is their staple thing. Retinol is their staple thing. Erectile dysfunction. And then they have creams for acne and melasma and sweating and that kind of stuff. So it's great because if you live in a smaller community in the US and you don't have access to a dermatologist or you don't have access to even a physician, you can do it through them, which is great.
That's pretty cool. As an author of a book, do you find time to read books?
Yeah, I'm part of a book club. Oh God, yeah. I would
all right.
die if I
Perfect
didn't have
question.
that.
Tell me the absolute must book everyone must read beyond soap, because everybody's going to get beyond soap. But what is the next book that everybody's got to read, especially now that we have a lot of time during COVID?
Yeah. I'm having a mind cramp. Gwendolyn, you guys know this book, right?
Gwendolyn?
What's her name? What's it called? Untamed.
Untamed. Let me write that from here.
So Untamed. It's amazing. I actually just started it, so I can't tell you that much about it. The other, I read so many books in COVID, just like everybody else. The Vanishing Half, Girl, Woman, Other. I mean, I'm part of a female book club, so it's a little bit more chick.
My wife has read a few of those.
Yeah, it's great. But I don't know what book. I would say Untamed.
Untamed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna hand you off to Nathan, and I'm gonna write that down there.
Okay.
So let's. You've done a lot. This has been a fascinating interview, and I want to know if at any time in your life, if anxiety has been an issue or mental health has been an issue.
Just in the ER and the OR.
Absolutely, many times actually. I don't think anybody who's high functioning, if they're at all open about their life, and I've mentioned this to students as well. And it's hard, and I don't mean to bang the drum of single mom, mother, doctor kind of thing, but it is a lot.
Yeah.
I've had a few health bumps in my life. I had sort of an emergency abdominal surgery, was quite ill, very ill actually. And I got depressed after that. I got sort of situational depression. Yeah. I also broke my hip 2 years ago.
Wow.
Random fall. And so I'm a very active, high functioning person. So when I got those setbacks, I got very down. Yeah. And so absolutely I've been affected by mental health. I mean, my kids would say I'm crazy, right? I have 3 sons, right? Mom's nuts, right?
Well, I think we're all crazy in our own way, aren't we?
Well, Robin Williams really rightly said, we're all 10% crazy and you shouldn't lose it. Because it makes us special. It makes us do what we need to do.
It is so true. And just on that, like as a community, how do we support, how do you believe we need to support others when it comes to anxiety and mental health?
You need to talk about it. You need to, it needs to be part of the conversation. I remember when one of my kids was having some trouble early on, talking, they were a little delayed. And I went to a speech pathologist and she said, so what do you do? I go, well, I say, what's this? And she goes, well, you have to tell them what it is. So saying to somebody, are you feeling okay? They're just going to go, yeah. Yeah. Right. So you have to actually have a deeper conversation. You can't just say, are you okay? Because it's not really an opening statement. You have to delve into a little bit more detail. And I think with students too, nowadays, especially in COVID, It's hard. So
Yeah.
really just having an open conversation about it and sharing a little bit about yourself. Yeah.
And I've got one more question before we get into the fun part of this evening.
Oh, there's more?
Yeah, there is one. Resident Doctor You meets Dr. You today. What do you give yourself? What sort of advice do you give yourself back then if you knew what you knew today?
Wow. I think I have no regrets, but I think I would have probably spent a bit more time with my kids when they were younger.
Yeah.
I started my clinic in 2006, and I kind of would go back and forth with that, because if I hadn't started it, it might not be what it is today. But I think there's time. There's time. So yeah, I would have maybe worked for someone else for a little bit more before I branched out on my own. And again, it's not a regret. It's just that would have been better for maybe me, because some people do it very well. I'm not necessarily, I'm all full on, and it's hard to sometimes manage full on when you have multiple full ons.
Yes.
And I think I would have probably done a little bit more within mentoring younger kids. Like I teach a lot in my clinic, but I didn't necessarily take on mentoring roles. And I've done that later in my career, and it's so rewarding. So I maybe would have done a little bit more of that. Yeah.
Awesome.
I think you are a fascinating woman, and there's definitely not enough time in one single interview to get it all out of you.
We need a part 2. We need to bring you back.
We need a part 2, and we are, I know that you're a Spotify person. This is where I get to plug in the fact that we are on Spotify as a podcast,
Yes,
and on Apple and on Stitcher. And we are going to be launching a new podcast, and we'd love to have you on, because I don't think I could get enough of you. Yeah.
Well, I'd love to be on your new podcast. That'd be great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
See, it was. I've said it in a way that now you can't say no, because we're on the show.
I have to tell you, I really enjoy this forum. I think it's a great way of disseminating information. I've done lots of virtual talks too lately, at various meetings. I've got a couple coming up, and it's really great. I think it's almost even better way of engaging, because people pop up questions. Like sometimes when you're in an auditorium and there's lights and everyone's looking at you, you don't want to put up your hand and ask a question. When it's virtual, people ask questions.
Yeah. They do.
And the dialogue is actually quite amazing sometimes. So we have to look at the good side of all these challenges that we're having, and take out the good stuff from it. So
it's true. All right, time to get into our quick fire questions.
Okay.
I want you to answer without putting too much thought into it.
Okay.
You are allowed one pass.
One pass. Okay.
One pass. All right, ready?
Okay. God, this is stressful.
What's your favorite thing in your closet right now?
This new shirt.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to agree. What's your guilty food pleasure?
Sour keys.
Ooh, okay. Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
Sour candies or ice cream?
Oh, sour candies.
Sour candies. And champagne or wine?
Wine.
Okay. Vodka or gin?
Oh, vodka.
If you could be from any other decade or era, which would it be?
50s.
And your house is on fire. Your kids are safe. What are the 2 things you run back in to get? Now, this one's going to be a tough one too for you, because I know what you got there.
Yeah. I have MacBook photo albums of all the trips I've brought my kids on, and I've deleted the photos. So I grabbed those. And some of the artwork that I've collected when I've traveled.
Okay. iPhone or Android?
And iPhone.
Any tattoos?
No.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Well, I'm doing pass.
It's the easiest one to pass on.
Do you prefer texting or talking?
Texting. I'm horrible on the phone.
Okay. You can either speak every single language in the world or communicate directly with animals.
Oh, animals. Love animals.
And you get to have, your ultimate best friend would be Beyonce or Rihanna.
Rihanna.
And white or whole wheat?
Whole wheat.
French fries or potato chips?
Oh, French fries.
Yoga or Pilates?
Pilates.
Weights or cardio?
Weights.
Intimacy or sour keys?
Sour keys.
I love sour keys, so I like you even more. You're going to the fashion event of the year. Which designer is dressing you?
Oh, I love fashion. Prada.
Okay. And you get to have dinner with God.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to ask one question that God must answer. What is that question?
Oh my God, these are hard questions.
Pass.
Did he really take out the rib from the woman and make the man, or whatever they did for the Bible?
Take the rib to make the woman.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
You want the resolution. I love it. All right, last question of the night. Nathan or me?
Both.
Oh.
We recently had someone that went, neither.
No. That's no good.
I'm gonna pass you on to Nathan, because there actually are two more questions of the night before we close off. But I want to say a massive thank you for your time today.
This was really fun.
Greatly appreciated. I really look forward to reading your book and then picking your brain about it. Yeah. And as you know, listening to some of the stuff you said tonight, I really want to thank you on behalf of anybody that works in this industry for your approach to how you deal with skin and the health of skin. And, you know, I'm so grateful to Dr. Wu all those many years ago that got hold of that young volleyball girl in New York City and got her shit together.
Right, exactly.
Thank
you
so much for being here. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.
Well,
yes. Thank you, Dr. Wu. 2 more questions. We always have to relate it back to the skin because we're called Skinterviews. So what's your current skincare routine?
Okay. I use Bioderma Micellar Cleanser. I very rarely use any water. I use Estederm Retinol at night. Yep. And I use SkinCeuticals Vitamin C in the morning. And that's it.
Awesome. And the last question is, who would you like to see next on the show? And can you maybe help make that happen for us?
Let's see here. Trying to think of a Canadian that I think you had Sharon Humphreys already, didn't you?
We did, yes. Yeah.
Do you think you could get us J-Lo?
Yeah. J-Lo.
I could try.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I could try.
Yeah. Or A-Rod. That would be awesome.
Or A-Rod. Maybe together.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you go to her concert, her 50th birthday concert?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I mean, I'm an ancillary advisor. I mean, I get little tidbits here and there, but
you could pull some strings, I'm sure. just like that day you were in with the surgeon when you stopped the, hey,
exactly.
I'm an advisor here. I want to know what's going on. You need to go on Skinterviews.
I would like to see you have, because she's sort of an icon of Canadian. She's not. She invented Botox with. She works with Sharon. What's her name? Short blonde hair.
Carruthers. Dr. Carruthers. Yeah.
I mean, she's amazing, and she's such a great mentor to so many people. And her story of, like, she would be fascinating to talk about how she really discovered Botox.
Yeah. Okay. That's
right. She went to.
That's awesome.
You know the story? Yeah. I mean, it's fascinating. You know, she came home and told her husband, I really like it when we put it in there. The wrinkles seem to go away. We should talk to Allergan. Like, it's a great story. So that's who I'd like to see on your show.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been fascinating. Like, we could do another few hours on. I've got so many more questions to ask you.
thank you. This is fun. I've done like much more serious talking about stuff. So that not that this wasn't like, it's just fun that you are asking me about me. It's I don't think I've talked as much about myself or history in the past. So it's been great. Thank you.
It's good to bring up old memories. You know.
It is. Yeah. It is for sure.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We're going to put you backstage. Don't go anywhere because I want to say goodnight. And in the meantime, we're going to have a quick message from our sponsors, and I will be right back to say goodnight to our audience. So let's hear it. What an incredible interview. What a nice woman. What an intelligent woman. What a busy woman. What a well-traveled woman. You know, at the end of the night, I always try to find what I want to reflect on from the interview the most and what I want to take away with me from everybody I meet. I was coming into this interview with all these questions about, how often do I need to wash my skin, and do I do it with water? Do I just wash my bits and my parts as we put it in my feet? And, all the stuff we're learning about the skin every single day in medicine. And a lot of people look at our industry and they think it's all about cosmetics, and it's all about big lips, and it's overdone faces, and it's all this stuff with filler and things that could go wrong, and celebrities that have crossed the line and the doctors that allowed them to cross the line. And we rarely actually take a look at the people that have progressed our industry. People like Dr. Carruthers that discovered Botox. People like Dr. Skotnicki that, with research continuously to excel her field, is teaching the dermatologists and doctors of tomorrow. And the one thing I want to take away from the whole interview that really stuck with me, for everybody that thinks that everything we do in this industry could be in vain or it's all about vanity, there's one thing she said that I want you to really listen to and take away from. She said, it is a privilege to be able to change people's lives and impact their lives. And by working in skin and by working in the health of the skin, you will in turn have beautiful skin. You will in turn, prevent aging factors or slow down the hands of time or the external factors that age us. And it's these doctors that are really pushing those boundaries, that are never stopping to learn past their medical school. Could you imagine if she missed that call? We wouldn't have it here today. So it is our responsibility and our duty to support our derms and our doctors that are out there that are continuously educating themselves and pushing the lines of where medicine and the health of our body and our organs and our lives is taking them. So I want you to make sure you go on to Amazon or Kindle or wherever you want to get your book from and pick up Beyond Soap. And it doesn't matter if you don't follow it. It's literally about educating yourself and really learning what's happening to you in medical science, because at some point, maybe it'll become the new norm. So that's it for me tonight. I'm not going to tell you to take care of your skin because that's what I usually close the episode with. If you haven't figured it out yet, you might as well just send me a message so I can come to you and maybe hit you over the head with a stick that's 6 feet apart, because we can't get much closer right now. I'm kidding. Just do it. Take care of your skin, okay? All right? Don't make me come after you. Anyways, thank you so much for watching Skinterviews. Don't forget to follow us. Instagram, skin.terviews. Facebook and LinkedIn, Skinterviews by Nathan and Jorm. By Nathan and George. Not germ. I'm not a germ. Maybe sometimes. I also want you to hit up FullScript on Instagram. You can find them at FullScript. They've been nice enough to sponsor this entire season. Doctors, really check them out. Get on it. Don't make me keep saying it every single episode. And lastly, you can catch our episodes as a podcast, because if you are busy and on the go, or you are at the gym or cleaning the house or in a Zoom meeting you don't want to be in, put it in one ear and listen to us on either Apple, Spotify, or Stitcher. All episodes can be found at therevenuedoctors.com under the Skinterviews by Nathan and George tab. Thank you very much for watching. Let's see what we're going to have next. Don't forget to message us your comments and questions for our guests. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night.